Hello, my name is Jean-Pierre Gonneau. In case you don't know me, I'm assistant pastor here at the church, and I want to know today, how are you? Well, excellent. That's great. Okay, now if your mother taught you any manners, you would have then said, and how are you? How am I? Yes. And then I would have responded with one of my favorite and standard lines, one that you would have heard fairly often, and that is, I'm good, just busy. I'm good, just busy. It becomes one of the standard things we hear, isn't it? I'm doing well, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm just busy. I've got a lot on the go, I'm busy with work, I'm doing these things. We're good, but we're just busy. Dallas Willard, an American philosopher and writer on Christian living, once said, hurry is the great enemy of spiritual life in our day. You must ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. So I recently read and rereading a book titled by that same name, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, by a former burnt-out pastor, American pastor by the name of John Mark Comer. So I highly recommend, if this subject speaks to you, grab yourself that book and read. A lot of this comes from there. But if you were to ask me that question, what is the greatest spiritual enemy of our day? I'm not sure I would have started there. I don't think that's where I would have landed. I would have probably gone with things like liberal theology or internet pornography, the erasure of gender, the whole gender issue. I don't know what, potholes, Jacob Zuma. I mean, several things I would have started with as the enemy of spirituality, of a true rich spiritual life. I definitely would not have put hurry anywhere in the list, let alone near the top. But when I stop, ironically, and think about it, I think there is some truth there. Perhaps hurry is the greatest spiritual enemy of our time. Busyness, distraction, always running on to the next thing, the pace of life that we live. Because the devil really shows up in a red suit with a pitchfork. He's far more smart than that. He's a little bit more cunning. So he'll come in a little notification on your phone while you're busy reading the Bible. Or he'll come in a multi-day Netflix binge, a full-on dopamine addiction to Instagram, another Saturday morning at the office, or another sporting commitment that keeps you away from church on a Sunday morning. Corrie ten Boom once said, if the devil can't make you sin, he'll make you busy. The famous psychologist Carl Jung said, hurry is not of the devil, hurry is the devil. And hurry and love or intimacy are not compatible. They do not go together. All my worst moments as a father, as a husband, as a friend, they all come when I'm busy, when I'm hurried, when I'm rushing from here to there, when my to-do list is too long, when I've just got so much on the go. That's when I'm irritable. That's when I'm angry. That's where I ooze tension and I snap and I have a short fuse and all these kinds of things. That's when I'm at my worst, when I'm hurried. It happened this week. We had a leaders meeting at our house on Thursday. I was busy preparing for the sermon. I was trying to make some final notes for the meeting, getting worship songs ready, doing all sorts of things. My wife was busy sorting out the kids and making supper for us. And we had a spat over a bathroom tap. Neither of us had time for each other, and I got irritated because I just wanted to speak about it. Can we just sort it out? And then no. And I got irritated because we were hurrying. We were busy. We miss each other. We lose each other in that place. I can't help wonder if Jesus would say to our entire generation what he said to Martha. You are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. And we can all feel it. The world is speeding up. Am I right? Today is the 14th of July, 2024. Yesterday was the 13th of July, 2017. It feels like time has just flown. It's gone so fast. I mean, it's okay to miss like a day. You don't know what you did like on Tuesday last. I don't know what I did in March this year. time is just flying. It just seems that year on year, things are just going faster and faster. But naturally, it wasn't always this way. Life didn't always move so quickly. So I want us to delve into the history books quickly. We're going to do a quick a history lesson on the brief history of time itself. So it all starts around 1500 BC, when the very first Casio was invented, okay, aka the sundial. Then in the year 996, it was Pope Sylvester II and the monks who came up with the mechanical clock in order to call all the monks to prayer times 7 times a day. But most historians will point to the year 1370 as the turning point with our relationship to time. It was the year that the very first clock tower was erected in Cologne, Germany. Up until that point, we were living on natural time. We woke with the sun. We went to sleep with the moon. We worked harder, longer days in summer, shorter days, slower days in winter. But then all of a sudden, we started to march to the beat of artificial time. We worked 8 to 5 all day long for the whole year. We woke up with the drone of the alarm clock instead of when we felt rested enough. And yes, we've become far more efficient, but we've also become far more machine and far less human being. And then came Edison, the invention of the light bulb in 1879. And that's our way of sticking it to the sunset and just working the whole night through for as long as we wanted. Did you know that before Edison, the average person slept 11 hours a night? That average is down to 7 now. It's no wonder that we are chronically exhausted. Then from the mid-1900s, we saw the invention of a whole bunch of labor-saving devices, things like the toaster and the washing machine and the dishwasher and the computer and the automatic programmable coffee machine, okay? We used to have to walk everywhere. Now we fly and we drive, and we used to have to post letters and wait years for them to get somewhere. Now we send a quick text or an email and it's gone and received in seconds. Yet despite all of these things, which really do save us a lot of time, we still have less time, not more. So what gives? What's going on? Truth is, we just spend that time on other things. And those other things really started to expand exponentially from the year 2007, when a guy by the name of Steve released a little thing called the iPhone into the wild. It was also the year that Facebook opened up, the year Twitter was launched, it was the year of the cloud, the year of the App Store. It is the official start of the digital age. You know that in the last decade, the smartphone has changed what it means to be human. Neurobiology is being rewired by this device, and our capacity for attention is dropping, and our ability to stay present is being absolutely demolished. A recent study found that the average iPhone user touches his or her phone 2,617 times in a day. And that's the average user. I don't even want to know what the Gen Zs do. In the year 2000, pre the digital age, our attention span as human beings was 12 seconds. Not a lot of wiggle room there, but now it is sitting at a mere 8 seconds. That might not sound like all that alarming to you, but just so you know, the poster child of like poor attention span, the goldfish, has an attention span of 9 seconds. We are literally being beaten by a goldfish. Our attention span is down to nothing. Psychologists say that the vast majority of people's relationships to their phone fall at least under the category of compulsion. But most of us are in full-on addiction. Don't think it's you? Addiction is defined as the relentless pull to a substance or an activity that becomes so compulsive it ultimately interferes with everyday life. Anybody have this thing interfere with everyday life? I do. By definition, that is most of us in this room. Still don't think it's you? Okay, prove it. Switch it off. 24 hours. Switch your phone off for 24 hours. Resist the urge to text, to check the weather, to find out what's going on Instagram or Facebook or the news. And see if in that period you do not find yourself in the fetal position, writhing, chittering teeth and eyes, you will freak out. We won't make it through a 24-hour period without our phones. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not advocating that we go back to some mythical, pre-digital utopia where no one has phones. That's not for me. I don't want to have to, send little messages with a carrier pigeon just to get the groceries or, stick my finger out to find out what the weather is. That's not what I want to do. I love life with Google Maps and Spotify and calendar reminders. I couldn't do life without those things. But my question still remains: what is all this distraction and addiction and pace of life actually doing to our souls? What is it doing to our relationships with Jesus and with our kids and our spouses and all the people around us? Hurry kills relationships. Love takes time, and hurry has none of it. Hurry kills joy, it kills gratitude, it kills appreciation, it kills all the things that we hold dear. Health and spirituality and marriage and family and thoughtful work and generosity and creativity, you name it, hurry kills it. The poet Mary Oliver said, "Attention is the beginning of devotion." And attention leads to awareness. So many of us live our lives unaware of the presence of God. We don't know that He's with us, and we complain. We say, "Lord, where are you? Lord, I don't hear your voice." But God is omnipresent. We are not. He is always with us. It is just our awareness of Him that lacks because we're too busy. We're too hurried. When last did you stop and become aware of the presence of God around you? So it's safe to say that we have a problem. And the problem is time. But the solution is not more time. Hey, think about it. If you had extra 6 hours in a day, what you going to do? You're going to sit under a tree with your legs crossed going, "Om"? No. You're going to fill that time. You're going to fill every single hour. I want to learn the drums. That's what I would do. I want to find out what the other 3 strings on a bass guitar are for. I want to read. I want to draw more. So many things. I want to learn a new language. I want to travel. I want to start rock climbing again. I want to rewatch every episode of How I Met Your Mother. So many things that I would like to do in that time. If given more time, all we would do is fill that stuff up. We would just fill it with more and more stuff. Hashtag YOLO. You only live once. Just cram as much as you can get out of life. The solution to an overbusy life is not more time. It's to take the time we have and to simplify and to slow down and to really focus on what matters. Research concluded that the average guy spends 10,000 hours playing video games by the age of 21. 10,000 hours. In 10,000 hours, you can master just about any craft or become an expert in any field, from archaeology to Olympic water polo. You can study a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in 10,000 hours. You could memorize the New Testament. Or, you could hit legendary status in Call of Duty. The average person reads between 200 to 400 words per minute. At that speed, we could all read 200 books a year in just 417 hours. 417 hours, it's still, that sounds like quite a commitment. That's a lot of hours. Social media use amounts for 705 hours. TV time, 2,000 plus hours. We've got the time. If you took just an hour of your TV watching time, you could read the entire Bible in 6 months. And who better to learn about this kind of thing, about slowing down, than Jesus? We have to recognize we have a problem. We are cramming our lives, and we need to slow down. And it doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're a business owner, if you're a mom of 3, if you're a retiree, we all need a masterclass in restructuring our lives into a place where we can slow down and just be present. And Jesus did this so well. If we look through the Gospels, we never see Jesus in a hurry. You never see him rushing. Can you imagine him? Can you imagine Jesus like just in a rush, and he comes through and he's like, Mary Magdalene, why did you oversalt the hummus? You just don't see it. He wouldn't be rushing from place to place. He's always got time for people. Can you imagine him like at the end of the day, just like in his armchair, like, I really need a glass of wine. Huh? Jesus was never stressed out. Imagine coming to him and being like, Jesus, I just want to talk to you. I just need prayer. It's my brother. I need healing, something. And he's like, yeah, okay, what? No, okay, I'm just like, speak to Thaddeus, he can like arrange something for us. I'm on my way to like a gig at the synagogue, you cannot imagine a hurried Jesus. He always had time. He was always present. There's this one story about Jesus' friend Lazarus. And when I say friend, I mean like close friend. And he was really sick. And when I say sick, he was pretty much dying. But then we read this line. In John 11, verse 6 to 7, it says, when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. And then he said to his disciples, let us go back to Judea. 2 more days. His best friend, one of his close friends, is on his deathbed, and still he is chill. 2 more days he stayed. Another story, Jairus. Jairus comes running into the temple. Jesus is teaching. He falls at his feet and said, help me. My daughter is dying. And he goes with him. But in the midst of this, a woman comes and touches his cloak. We know the story. And there's this beautiful exchange that happens. Jesus slowly asks questions. And she ends up healed. And then he gets through to Jairus' daughter, and she's healed too. If he was in a rush, he would have missed that. We would have missed that. We just rushed through life. No chance for interruptions because we've got places to be. We need to be somewhere. Jesus was slow. He was present. And his schedule was busy. He was a busy man. He had a lot of stuff to do. But he never came across as hurried. How did he do this? He had margin. He built margin into his life. Margin is the space between our load and our limits. Most of us, there is no space. There is no space between our load and our limits. We're not at 80%. We're at 100% all the time. We have no margin, no room to slow down, to be interrupted, to experience truly like what is happening in life. If we think about Jesus' lifestyle for a minute, let's look at a couple of things. He would regularly get up early, go off to a quiet place to be with his Father. He would go away overnight, even disappear for weeks. The disciples would regularly have to wake him up because he was sleeping in. He would enjoy nice long meals with his friends, encouraging dialogue and finding out what was going on in their lives. He lived simply, just clothes on his back. You never hear of him, rushing off to the mall to buy new tassels or like shopping online for some new sandals. He was happy. He was content with what he had. He would practice Sabbath on a weekly basis, an entire day to rest and worship every single week. Man, I don't know about you, but that sounds like the dream. That's the life I want. Slow, unhurried, enjoying every minute. And Jesus wants that too. That's the life that Jesus wants for you too. That's why all throughout the scriptures we see this invitation. Come, follow me. Come and be my apprentice. Come and learn from me. And there's this one incredible invitation where he expands on this idea. In Matthew 11, verses 28 to 30, we all know this one. It says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Let's read Eugene Peterson's paraphrase of those same verses. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. What a beautiful line. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. You know, and you've probably read this verse yourself. You've heard it several times before, but you're still burdened. You're still restless. You're still running around. Why is this not working for me? I'm a Christian. I'm yoked up with Jesus. What's going on? It's because this invitation requires action. If you want to experience the life of Jesus, you have to adopt the lifestyle of Jesus. You know, Jesus' invitation to take up his yoke, it's to walk alongside him, to yoke yourself with him, that he will carry your burdens. Learn from him. He's going to shoulder the weight of the world. You take on his habits, take on his practices, apprentice under him, copy what he does. There's a top scholar of the gospel, on the Gospel of Matthew, Frederick Dale Bruner. He gives us insight, beautiful insight into the paradox of the easy yoke. He says, a yoke is a work instrument. Thus, when Jesus offers a yoke, he offers what we might think tired workers need least. They need a mattress or a vacation, not a yoke. But Jesus realizes that the most restful gift he can give the tired is a new way of carrying life, a fresh way to bear responsibilities. Realism sees that life is a succession of burdens. We cannot get away from them. Thus, instead of offering escape, Jesus offers equipment. Jesus means that obedience to his Sermon on the Mount, that is his yoke, will develop in us a balance and a way of carrying life that will give more rest than the way that we have been living. You see the genius in his invitation? The world is looking for an escape, a way out of the burdens and of the problems. But there's no escaping it. The world is the world. The best the world can offer is a temporary distraction. But Jesus comes along, and he doesn't offer escape. He offers something far better. He offers equipment, a new way to bear the weight of the world. At his side, like two oxen in a field. Picture it. An oxen just plowing slowly, walking slowly. That's why it said that we walk with Jesus. We don't run with him. Slow down. Let him shoulder the weight of the burden of the world. So I want to spend the rest of my time looking at 4 practices of Jesus. And there's a few more, but these are just the 4 that I want to focus on. And we as apprentices of Jesus should be looking at how we can model him in these ways in order to live freely and lightly. So the 4 things are silence and solitude, Sabbath, simplicity, and slowing. Okay, silence and solitude. We all know the story of Jesus' baptism. He goes under the water, comes out, there's a voice from heaven, this is my son in who I'm well pleased. It's a highlight, it's a massive moment, it's like a spiritual high, emotional high. I'm sure everyone's clapping, it's like an amazing thing. You think this is the launch pad now for Jesus just to go out and slay the enemy. But in the very next line, this is what we read. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him. Now, the first thing Jesus does after his baptism, he doesn't sign autographs. He goes straight into the desert, straight into the wilderness. Now, when we read this word desert, we think like heat and dust, Don't think that. The Greek word is eremos. It means deserted place, desolate place, solitude, a hiding place, a quiet place. So Jesus, all throughout the gospel, we see his relationship with this eremos. He went often. He went often to be alone. He would often withdraw to places of solitude, places with his Father. And when I read the scripture, I used to always think like, why would you isolate yourself, go hungry, when you know that you're about to come up against probably the biggest enemy of your life? Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in a vulnerable position? But we have it all backwards. We see it wrong. This eremos, this quiet place, this place where you retreat to is not a place of weakness, but a place of strength. This is where Jesus found his strength, in the quiet place. This is where you need to be to fight the enemy. This is where you need to be to feed yourself spiritually, to get sustained. This is the place we need to go, to the place of strength. Andre spoke about it last week, the hiding place. If we ignore this, we risk committing spiritual suicide, cutting ourselves off from the vine, which is the source of our lives. Your relationship is no different. Your relationship to God is no different to our relationship to other people. We need to invest. We need time alone together. There's the saying in parenting that to a child, love is spelled T-R-M-E. And there's so much truth in that. Not just for parents and children relationship, but in all relationships. We need to spend time with each other. I cannot have a thriving relationship with my wife if I do not spend time with her. We need to prioritize time with the Lord Jesus. If we love him, we will get into his presence so that we can experience him all day long. So here's how we put this into practice. We need to set a time, place, and a modest goal. Okay, Andre spoke about this last week too. He spoke about mornings and evenings, beautiful times, just to set aside time for God. Pick a time, pick something at work, something that you can be consistent in. If it's 10 minutes, fine. 10 minutes is better than nothing. Okay, if you're already at 10 minutes, up it to half an hour. Go beyond that. Spend concentrated time with God. Pick a place. Go somewhere quiet where you can be free from distractions and really focus on God. And set a modest goal. As I say, just go 10 minutes if you're at nothing at the moment. Do something achievable that you can make an habitual thing every day. Yesterday, I went to my favorite place in the house, which is ironically not in the house, it's on the house. I will go up to my roof. We have a beautiful outlook just over a farm where we live, and it was amazing. I was supposed to be prepping for a sermon, but I was just chilling up there. I think I lost track of time. I think it was half an hour or so, but I was just quiet, and I was watching the birds, looking at the trees, feeling the breeze, feeling the sun, breathing, listening, praying. This is what we need to do in the quiet place. When last did you take half an hour to sit by yourself without a device in your hand, without checking Facebook, without checking Instagram, without catching up on the news? When last? 30 minutes. When last did you do that? Just to sit and be quiet. Okay, in that place we need to breathe. We need to listen. We need to pray. We need to read. Now I know you're like thinking, oh, this guy's going a little bit off here. Sounds like a podcast of like your famous yogi guru, but this is Christianity. This is what we used to do. For millennia, Christians have been practicing meditation and sitting in the presence of God, listening to our breathing. This is not weird stuff. Mindfulness is emptying our minds. That's what the secular view on it is. This is filling our minds, filling our hearts, filling our souls with Jesus, with his love, with his truth, with his word. And then retreat. If you can, get yourself out. Go down to the beach for 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is. Do that once a month. Once a term, go out for a full day. Go into the forest, go out to Stadtheim, wherever. Early in the morning, come back in the afternoon. Spend time with God. Spend time by yourself. Once a year, rent a cabin up in Hogsback, in the mountains or wherever. Get away for a while. Retreat. Get out of the busyness of life and just rest in God. Take time to get into his presence. The second practice is Sabbath. This has unfortunately become incredibly countercultural. Here's a scary statement, and you can probably say the same thing. I do not know a single person who practices Sabbath, myself included. I don't know a single person who takes a 24-hour period to completely rest, stop doing everything, and just practice the habit of Sabbath. Yet the Sabbath is a holy gift, blessed by God. The scripture says that Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. It's a gift from the Lord. Sabbath is a full 24-hour period of restful worship centered around cultivating an unhurried, slow, and rich and restful life. But we've reduced Sabbath down to like an optional extra. That's for those guys like back then, before life was really busy. they could do Sabbath. We don't have time for that. You don't know my study schedule. I can't rest. You don't know what it's like to be a business owner, to do the invoicing and the marketing and actual work. I can't rest. I don't have time for all of this. But let's take it way back to the beginning. In Genesis 2, it says, by the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Did you catch it there? God rested. So it doesn't matter about your study schedule and that you can't rest. God rested. It doesn't matter about your business. God rested. If he could build that in, so can you. Oh, you don't know what it's like to clothe and feed and be responsible for 3 children. I can't. How do I run a household and still rest? God did it. God rested. The creator of it. When last did you create the earth? Do you know that there is not a single spiritual discipline that's commanded in the 10 Commandments? Not prayer, not going to church, not community, not fellowship, except one. Keep the Sabbath holy. The Sabbath is a command from God. And not in like some sadistic way where like God wants you to get behind on your to-do list so that your Monday is super hectic. That's not what it's about. God knows that it is healthy for us to stop one day out of 7 and to get into this rhythm of having rest. He wants us to move from restlessness to restfulness. That's his heart. For us to move, to take a step off of the hamster wheel. Just a day. And I tell you what, it is going to inform you, it's going to change your whole life. It's going to change your whole week. So how do we do Sabbath exactly? So a good way to think about it is through the lens of the 4 translations of the Hebrew word Shabbat. So the first is to stop. Cease all work. Stop thinking about work. Stop planning for work. Don't do any chores. Just stop. Stop doing everything you're doing. Rest. Rest your entire being. Body, mind, and spirit. Sleep. Don't plan. Don't think about work. Just rest. Rest your emotions. Give it all to God. Stop striving for stuff. Third is delight. Just pamper your soul with all the things that you love to do. Everything that gives you joy and wonder and gratitude. Just have a happiness party. Eat good food. Walk in nature. Spend time with your family and friends. Listen to music. Play games. If you're married, make love to your spouse. Just have fun with God. Enjoy your time with him. And fourth is worship. And I'm not talking about like sitting around all day listening to Bethel music, worship songs. You can do that, that's great, but just have gratitude for what God has given you. Praise him. Enjoy his presence. Worship him. My wife and I are starting today. This is a new concept for us, as I'm sure it is for you, believe it or not, although it's in the Bible, although we read it all the time, although it's commanded. Sabbath is not something to do. But we're starting today. So when I get home, I am super excited. My phone is going off. It's going to go away somewhere. We are going to chill. I'm going to nap. We're going to play games. We're going to walk. We'll go for a walk maybe with the kids, play games as a family. Might do a couple of other things on that list. We're going to eat. We're going to have a big meal, nice dessert. Just chill. It's going to be awesome. I am so excited. Join me. I mean, at your house, not mine. Don't want to come to my house. Just let's take half a day. Just start small. Start where you're at. Take a 6-hour day and just chill. Just slow down. Hebrews 4:11 says, make every effort to enter that rest. We need to work at it. Plan ahead. Pick your day. Make it Saturday. Make it Sunday. If you've got a flexible schedule, make it a day during the week where you as a family can slow down and get together. Cook a meal the day before. Finish your work. Clear your tasks. Clear out your to-do list so that you can chill properly. Switch off your phone. Put it in the cupboard. Get rid of it. You don't need it for half a day. Everyone will survive. And you won't get it right straight away. We won't get it right. But give yourself grace. You're not in a hurry, remember? You're not in a hurry to get it right. Just keep going at it. Okay, third, simplicity. I like this one. I don't get it fully right, but I really like it. Simplicity is like the less cool older brother of minimalism, okay? That's what the secular world is calling it, but they are two terms that are pretty much interchangeable. It is the pushing against the grain of the worldly gospel that says more stuff equals more happiness. US oil tycoon John Rockefeller, when asked how much money is enough, famously answered, just a little bit more. That's the gospel of the world. More. We always need just a little bit more. The gospel of Jesus says life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. So if you subscribe to the gospel of Jesus, and I would recommend that you do, then we should be seeking to whittle down our abundance of stuff. We all have, I don't care how little you probably have an abundance of stuff. Enter the need for simplification. So to start off with, don't think of simplification or simple living or minimalism as like one chair in the middle of a lounge with no dust and no curved lines. Okay, we're not talking about like a design aesthetic here. We're talking about a way of life. I'm also talking about not living with nothing, just living with less. Rather, simplicity is this intentional living where we live with less. We make space for more of what we love and what God desires and the good things in our life. So that translates to less clothes, less stuff, less things we don't need, less hobbies, less options, more prayer, more joy, more peace, more loving relationships, more intimacy with God. So simplifying definitely involves some decluttering, but as a lifestyle, this is going to go through to everything, our schedule, our budget, the way we spend our time. We will begin to simplify when we realize that it's just creating clutter in our heads and in our hearts. So practically, a very good place to start is with our clothes. Go home today, open your cupboard, pull everything out. Get the vacuum cleaner, get in there, clean it out nicely, wipe it out. Then with that mountain of clothes that are on your bed, start to put it into 5 different piles, okay? First pile, what you need, okay? Put a pair of undies in there, please. Next is what you can give away. Okay, next pile, give away. You know you haven't worn that thing for 3 years now. It's been eaten by the moths. Just give it away. Okay, give it to someone else who can actually use it. The next one, sell. Okay, there are some things that are still in good condition. Be wise with your stuff. Sell it, get the money for it. Just don't buy another one of those things. Next pile, throw away or recycle. Okay. Someone else can use it. Otherwise, you haven't used that thing. Just get rid of it. And then the final pile is weight. Okay, I know we have emotional attachments to our stuff. Okay, just put it in the weight pile, but then revisit that pile. This is an important step. A year from now, 2 years from now, go back and see, have I used that thing? And chances are you might have distanced yourself because you don't see it in your cupboard, and then it'll be easier to give away. Another extreme challenge is the 10-item wardrobe. Okay, when you mix and match just 10 items, okay, undies and socks not included, so that's okay. Just 10 items, mix and match, you'll be surprised how far you can get and how creative you can get with just 10 items. Another thing to try is the uniform, okay, made famous by Steve Jobs. Black turtleneck, blue jeans, New Balance sneakers. He wore that day in and day out. It was his uniform. I did something similar a couple of years ago, 5 years ago or so, if not a bit more, where I pretty much decolored my wardrobe. So I took all my t-shirts that were different colors, and I only had black, white, and shades of gray in between. It was amazing. No choice in the morning, the blue with the green, the yellow, and the nuh-uh. Black goes with everything. Gray, black, white, they just move, they work beautifully together. It was a beautiful moment. I say that I'm wearing blue at the moment, but you get it. Once your wardrobe is clear, move on to the living room. Then go to the kitchen. Then get into your office or your study and start going through papers, documents. Get yourself a scanner. Scan on your phone. Get stuff into the cloud. Come on. Get it out of your space. Get it into the cloud. Clear your space up. Move on to your schedule. Have a look at that. Move on to your budget. Start to simplify as much as you can. I could go on about this one, but I won't. Final points. This one excites me the least. Slowing. So the basic idea behind this principle is slow down your body slow down your life. I don't like going slowly, I'll admit. I drive fast, I walk fast, I even speak pretty fast. I don't make decisions that fast, but I'm working on that one. But I do not like moving my physical body through space and time very slowly. It just seems really inefficient. Even if I'm not in a rush, I'd rather just get there quicker. Okay. Kerry, I see Greg's giving you a very loving, like, this one's for you, baby. Fast is not conducive to intimacy. If Jesus was moving fast, he would miss out on those moments. No relationship can survive if we're rushing through all the time. Jesus was slow. He was unhurried. He allowed interruptions to come. He modeled the fact that some of his best moments were when he was interrupted. But we need to allow them to happen. So here's a fun list from the book of ideas to slow down your life. Okay. First one, drive the speed limit. I think it's also like a law. Huh? I'm all for I'm just like, what's the speed limit? Okay, and what's the allowance? Okay, I'm there. I'm at 129 rather than, is it 10K? So I might get fined for that. 124 maybe. Just so I'm not going to drive 120. I just want to go a little bit faster. I just want to get somewhere a little bit quicker. How's this one? Get into the slow lane. Hey, join grandma there and the taxis in the slow lane. And Dave. Okay, join Dave in the slow lane. Nice. Just cruising with Dave. Hey, how many of you arrive at a traffic light and make a quick decision? 2 cars, 5 cars. Where am I going? 2 cars. Stop it. Get in the 5-car lane. Do it. Get in the long lane. Have patience. Don't take out your phone and text in that time. Just chill. Come to a full stop at a stop sign. Also think there's a bit of a law about that one. Don't text and drive, literally killing us, okay? Someone can wait. You can wait to check that email, check what's happening on Instagram. You don't need to do it in the 2 seconds that you are at the red light. Walk slower. That one's for me. Try single tasking. Revolutionary. Take up journaling. Cook good food and eat in. Show up 10 minutes early for an appointment without your phone. Just sit. Come to church 10 minutes early. If you're not using Checkers 6060 yet, and you should be, if you still go to the grocery store, pick the long line. Pick the one with more people in and leave your phone in your pocket. And just be. Maybe talk to somebody, another human being. Don't rush through life. Come on, these are fun little challenges. Make your smartphone as dumb as you can handle. This is a big one for all of us. Take email off your phone. What do you need to have email on your phone for? Most of us have it on our desktop or our laptop, and there's a time and place where we go and we sit and we attend to it, instead of receiving the pop-up, the notification all the time. Take all social media apps off your phone. Someone's going to throw a chair at me. I got rid of everything. Facebook was first to go, Instagram next, YouTube, those shorts were getting me, man. Every single time. It's like every spare second, I'm like, oh, no, stop it. I don't need all of that. We don't need all of those distractions. Keep the accounts, that's fine. I know like Facebook is a good business tool. I still use it. I've got accounts on all those things, but I do it on my desktop. I don't need them on my phone because you know what happens. Doom scrolling. Just take them off. Silence all notifications. My phone for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years has been on silent. I do not hear things. They do not. If you try to phone me and I don't pick up, it's because I literally just don't even know you're phoning me. I will phone you back, though. Or send me a message. I will get back to you. We need to actually just shift our minds about we don't need to be always on call every single time. Okay, we can get back to people. Ditch news apps. Take them off. At least take the notifications off. Delete every single app on your phone that does not add to your life in some way. Go through your phone and check, like, what is this? What was that even thing? Why did I need that? You don't need those things. Okay. Put all your apps together in nice, neat boxes. Make everything clean and simple. Parent your phone. What do I mean by that? Put it to bed before you go to bed. Switch it off, power it down, silence, flight mode, whatever you want. Set up a sleep schedule from a certain time where you don't get any notifications. And then let it get up later than you. Okay? Get into a routine of this. Let your quiet time come first. Wake up, spend time with Jesus, then look at your phone. The statistic is something like 90% of us will check our phones the very first thing in the morning. Okay, I read the Bible on my phone, but it's still in sleep mode. I'm not getting a whole bunch of notifications coming through. I prioritize that too. If you have another device like a tablet or something, get WhatsApp and those kind of notifications off, and then read the Bible there on them. There are ideas. There are ways to get around this. Okay, that's it. Now, I want you to know one thing, that this is all in good jest. I'm not bringing any condemnation on any of us. If you still want your Instagram account, please keep it, okay? If you want to still add to your 10,000 hours of Call of Duty, go for it. Just, you can keep going. But let's make a step. Let's make a step to unhurry and simplify our lives, because there is a lot at stake. We are losing connection with the world. We're losing connection with those around us. How many times do you go to a coffee shop and you just see a couple on their phones, right in front of them, face to face? But there's a device in between us. Let's not let that be us. Okay, you are guaranteed to fail in this journey. That's also one thing that you need to know. You're going to try, but tomorrow you will already be hurrying. If you take a slow afternoon today, tomorrow you will hurry. But just catch yourself and say, whoa, I don't want this. I don't want to be hurrying. I don't want to be rushing. I want to prioritize relationships and time with God. Jesus offers a different way to live. His invitation today is to come and yoke with him. Come and be with him. Paul says in Thessalonians, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. Not a successful life when you're climbing the ladder and doing all these things in the world. Make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. We need to fight for it. We need to be intimate with God.